we're going to talk not only about the mayor of Oakland. She's got her hands full with not a recall, but an FBI investigation, an FBI raid. We're also going to talk a little bit about the mayor of New Orleans. Mayor of New Orleans probably got some kind of indictment coming her way as well. Got shenanigans in New Orleans, got shenanigans in Oakland. And then we're going to do a quick update on, Village of Dalton. We had a board meeting last night, Village of Dalton, and Tiff said some stuff. She had some statements, and Jedediah Brown, he got so worked up going after Uncle Drew, who has the sexual allegations against him, that the Dalton's finest threw Jedediah Brown out of the council meeting. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's get into this. Let's keep going. And to catch up to speed, I found a pretty good clip from 𝗪𝗏 that kind of details. I'll just play you the clip.
𝗪𝗏𝗧𝗛's home last week. That was just one of 4 locations. The other 3 included Cal Waste Solutions, which provides recycling services for the city of Oakland. Also, the homes of 2 members of the 𝗪𝗏𝗧𝗛 family, which owns and manages that company. It turns out Cal Waste Solutions has been under investigation since 2019 for suspected campaign money laundering. Court documents obtained from Oakland's Public Ethics Commission alleges the laundering scheme spans several election cycles and involves the use of multiple straw donors making contributions to several candidate-controlled committees. Political analysts say straw donors are often used when an individual or entity seeks to contribute more money to a candidate than legally allowed.
It essentially finds friends, relatives, family members who will write individual checks in their own name and send it in, but be reimbursed.
Court documents suggest Mayor 𝗏 is just one of several Oakland politicians to receive these contributions from the straw donors, many of whom the Ethics Commission alleges didn't have the funds to make these donations until a large cash deposit was made just before or after writing the check.
If you have someone who's gone through the trouble, and I mean by trouble as in a lot of money, being funneled through different third parties to a single candidate or ballot measure, what have you, you can make a pretty good assumption that person is trying to get access and influence or sway a decision in their favor.
I have done nothing wrong.
Days after the FBI raid, Mayor 𝗏 maintained her innocence. A spokesman for Cal Waste Solutions also indicated the company has done nothing wrong. While several parties are the same, it's unknown if the FBI is investigating the same thing as Oakland's Public Ethics Commission. But if so, political analysts say the FBI's involvement kicks this to a new level.
It's one thing if it's a campaign finance violation, but where the FBI comes involved is that it's more than just a campaign finance violation. There is some nexus to public integrity or public corruption that they're trying to look for. Doesn't mean that it exists. Doesn't mean that it's there, but they're clearly looking for it.
It's about all in that segment. So, yeah, you've got all these entities that are having just political corruption after political corruption. The dictator of Dalton, Tiffany Henyard, being kind of the setting the bar standard. When you Google Democrat mayor corruption, she comes to the top of the list because I think she's just got so much going on. Now, Oakland Mayor 𝗪𝗏𝗏, she's got the recall going against her. She had her attorney quit. She had her spokesperson quit. When she's just had a cycle of stuff going on, we don't really know what the deal is there. I mean, the true deal of what the FBI is looking for, whether it's her financial backers have done the straw donor thing, yeah, probably. But the California Waste, the 𝗪𝗏𝗧𝗛 family, they've been under investigation basically since 2016. 2019, they were heavily investigated. And this is just an ongoing deal. Let's take a quick listen to what Mayor 𝗪𝗏𝗏 had to say. And this was, I think, an interview last night. Here's her spin on it. Now, she's a little bit more reserved than Tiff, and the super mayor of Dalton. But when you hear her talk, you just kind of think, what's going on here?
But Andre Jones has nothing to do with your administration at all. You could say that for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. And one more question. Do you have any association with the 𝗪𝗏 family? Their houses were also raided on the same day that your house was also raided too. What is your association with them, just in general, apart from anything that might be going on?
So what I can say about that is that you can see that associations or whatever have you that you would consider association is that everybody was actually, we take pictures with everybody. And so you can see that other electeds have taken pictures with them as well. And so, but that's all that I can say. Again, ongoing investigation. And so we are not able to talk about that.
So you heard the mayor right there. She couldn't comment a whole lot. We tried to ask her a lot about what happened there because a lot of people are curious about.
Yeah, we want to know.
Of course, what happened there. But that's.
We want to know basically, why is the FBI raiding your home? What's going on there? What kind of donations are we looking for? What kind of? And let's just go ahead and we'll get into this. I'm not going to read this whole article, but there is plenty of information here that kind of points us in the direction of, shenanigans. Do we have shenanigans going on? Yeah, it certainly seems like it. Federal investigators say a California business owner used a karaoke bar turned brothel. More shenanigans. A brothel? Yeah, it was a rub and tug deal, right? I mean, yep. So karaoke bar turned brothel to funnel campaign donations to Mayor 𝗪𝗃𝗃 and other members of the city's political class. They also, at one point in time, did a little pivot and they contributed heavily to Trump's campaign. Now, they've also contributed heavily. This is the family. They've also contributed heavily to people running the recall campaign on the mayor, on Mayor 𝗪𝗃𝗃. So this family is just, they are hedging all their bets. Yeah, we'll donate to you too. Andy Duong, whose family works as Oakland's curbside recycling contractor, which is a $1 billion contract, if I remember correctly. It is, I mean, it's just, yeah. Is accused of having surrogates hand out $18,000 to various political candidates from 2016 to 2018, according to documents. An undercover sting at the brothel in 2018 led to 3 arrests over accusations of drug and human trafficking. So, former manager arrested at the front business is one of suspected straw donors in Mr. Duong's alleged fundraising scheme. So you've got your standard political corruption going on here. And so much of it has to do with campaign financing, campaign funds. Now, who paid for this? What's going on here? Yeah, you've just got shenanigans all over the place. And what's really interesting is you've got the FBI involved in so many of these deals because it's gone far enough where you've got, like the attorneys are saying, it's not just, some kind of small ethics violation where you get a little slap on the wrist. It's like, it's pretty broad scale in scope. And yeah, you look at these stories and you go, what's the dealio there? Tell us the story there. Mr. Duong's home was raided by federal agents on June 20th. That was last week, right? And not only his home, but the mayor's home. And they're looking deep. The straw donors made their donations on the behest of the scheme's authors and were reported as the true donators on public campaign finance filings. Let's get down to what the actual, here we go. A filing from the Fair Political Practices Commission said Mr. No only had $50 to his name when he made a $700 donation to one candidate, and only had $5 in his bank account when he made an $800 contribution to a now former council member. Investigators said Mr. No made a large cash deposit just before or after writing his check. He's given the money. Hey, donate to them. Okay. All right. Does he get a little bit of a kickback? Who knows? He probably just gets access to influence or whatever. or his store doesn't get robbed, or, it gets a little bit of coverage. Mr. No gave $800 to Ms. Tao's city council campaign in 2018. She received $2,400 from people linked to the now shuttered cafe. This was the cafe turned brothel while she was running for city council record show. So much of this stuff, it's just all intertwined, and it's basic corruption. And you're seeing it on so many different levels at the mayor's office level. I mean, there's probably 5 or 6 mayors. I'm bringing up 3 today. Mayor of San Francisco, mayor of Oakland, mayor of New Orleans, and mayor of Dalton, because, Tiff, the super mayor, she's got entertainment, right? She's got entertainment. Former manager had his brothel related charges dropped by Alameda County prosecutors in 2022. Hey, don't hand out that list of clients because, so we're going to take those charges and just mum's the word. Mr. Duong was not the listed owner of the music cafe, but investigators said that they obtained text messages between Mr. Duong and State Assemblyman 𝗪𝗏𝗃𝗠𝗓, where the recycling contractor talked about setting up Mr. 𝗪𝗏𝗃𝗠𝗓 at his karaoke club. Hey, you want a back table? Know what I mean? Back table? Yeah. Want to do that? Oh, I do. Yes, I do. I want to be crystal clear. I've done nothing wrong, Ms. Tao said. I can tell you with confidence that this investigation is not about me. I have not been charged with the crime, and I'm confident that I will not be charged with the crime because I am innocent. Okay. All right. Benefit of the doubt. Okay. Maybe it's just the campaign contributions, right? Right? Who knows? But odds are she's involved, or somebody in her campaign's involved. Somewhere, somebody said, hey, we're going to get you some money. Okay. Don't tell me how you're getting it. Recall supporters argue Ms. Tao has contributed to last year's crime wave and dampened economic activity in the East Bay. I can't really say that is not an issue. You are seeing more and more folks get worked up about Oakland's just overall demise. I mean, some of the stories coming out of Oakland are just like, what? What's happening? What are you doing there? It's off the charts. And that's why I think she has a recall campaign going. Even her own residents who just, what's about this woman in office? She'll be great. She's fairly progressive. Let's get her in there, and she's really going to do some work. Soft on crime. Yeah, it's going to be great for Oakland. So bad. All right, let's move on to the next one here. Scandal believed to be behind FBI Shengtao raid had 93 alleged illegal donations. And this is what they're subpoenaing the records for, right? Just figure out, all right, who's involved? How does this go? This guy's got $5 in his checking account and he's making an $800 donation. So that's the key, isn't it? That's the kicker. You've got to, shirt's unbuttoned. No, I haven't been at the karaoke bar. You got to make these donations believable. So $800, $700, $500, whatever it might be, right? In order to, okay, we got 25 different donors here. Yeah, but you gave them cash and then they wrote the check. Oh, so that's why so many records have been pulled. Embattled Oakland Mayor Shengtao may have received donations through a campaign money laundering scheme that could be the root of last week's FBI raid of her home. Nobody knows exactly why the FBI made the raid on those 4 homes, but there's a pretty good guess. They're looking for those records. They know what they're looking for. They've targeted these locations, and it has to do with Mayor Shengtao and her partner, who apparently lives in the home with her, and then also the Duong family, who has the big garbage company. They've got a contract with the city of Oakland. Now, 7 days after last week's stunning FBI raid on Mayor Shengtao's home, we still do not know why the FBI seized evidence from her home. Do we care? Yeah, I mean, we kind of do, but we know she's involved in shenanigans. So it's like, okay, yeah, she's got something going on. She claims she's innocent, though, although Mayor Tiff does as well. She says, oh, yeah, when we play the clip, in last night's meeting, she said something, and I can't remember her quote, but she's like, "I am the beacon of light in Dalton." You're like, oh, I don't think I'd go that far. I wouldn't go there at all. And it's very possible, as Teo claims, that she's not a target of the investigation at all. Okay, but guilt by association, right? You got guilt by association. You've got somebody who's pretty close to this family who's been donating a lot of money. And the way that Mayor 𝗪𝗡𝗃 gets out of it is she says, hey, there's a lot of people in Oakland that have been, photographed with this family who set up all these straw donors. It's like, okay, but that still doesn't make what you might be involved in right. Maybe those people are innocent too, and maybe you're not innocent. We don't really know. But there's an emerging consensus among local news outlets investigating this bombshell that the raid is likely related to illegal campaign money laundering schemes involving 𝗬𝗨 from Callaway Solutions, the company's CEO, David 𝗪𝗏, his son, Andy 𝗪𝗏. Both of those gentlemen had their homes raided. They were part of the 4-home raid. So it looks like it is campaign donations. And then the raid on the mayor's home, that's where we're kind of like, okay, whatever. But she's got books as well, right? Are they going after a set of books at her place? We don't know. But they spent 4 hours in Mayor 𝗪𝗃𝗃's home, right? They took out all kinds of big bins, and we watched that last week, and you're like, what did they get from in there? Yeah, they got a bunch of stuff. So these allegations have been under investigation for years by the California Fair Political Practices Commission. And now you've got the FBI involved. Yeah. Which one of these 4, 5, 6 different mayors throughout the United States in blue Democratic cities, which one of them is going to have a major FBI indictment first? Is it Tiff? I don't know. Maybe. It's kind of a guess, right? It's kind of a toss up. You're kind of like, it could be any one of them. I think it's the one that has the most damning evidence that is just like a clear cut, boom, here we go. Because some of the stuff with the mayor from Mayor LaToya from New Orleans. So a couple of the deals there. You know what? Let's just go ahead and play that clip. Yeah. This is interesting. Ran over my cord. Sorry about that. All right. So now we are on, this is 𝗪𝗲𝗪𝗑𝗪 and Mayor 𝗪𝗏𝗪 𝗪𝗏𝗪 is the part of her security team. He was a police officer, and he's been photographed having drinks with the mayor over a 4-hour dinner while he billed the city for his time as a police officer. Now, it goes way beyond that, but it's just that kind of stuff where people aren't following the rules. And yeah, it's just crazy talk. All right, here we go.
Including the subpoenas and the length and everything, all of that. You expect an indictment sometime.
I do.
The latest subpoena in the federal government's investigation into New Orleans Mayor 𝗪𝗏𝗪𝗏𝗪 and NOPD officer 𝗪𝗏𝗪𝗑𝗪 leads the head of the Metropolitan Crime Commission to conclude an indictment is coming soon.
That to me suggests that this investigation is winding down.
Last month, Assistant U.S. Attorney Jordan Ginsburg, the lead prosecutor in the Cantrell case, sent us a subpoena asking for all outside the office reports that aired since February 22nd of this year. That subpoena covers
Outside the Office series. That's a series by Fox 8. And if you've watched those, they're fascinating. They're like, oh, hey now, wow, yeah. Shenanigans in New Orleans. Who would have thought, right? Who would have thought? Bourbon Street, shenanigans.
two key stories. One that shows a picture from the Metropolitan Crime Commission of Cantrell and 𝗪𝗡 having dinner on the balcony of a French Quarter restaurant during the same time 𝗪𝗡 was on the NOPD clock. The other, this picture from 2022, sent to us by a source of Cantrell and 𝗪𝗡 at the bar of the restaurant Doris Metropolitan. 𝗪𝗡 with his hands on a filled wine glass at the same time he was on the NOPD clock. The Fed's investigation into the mayor has taken time. Fox 8 started reporting on subpoenas in the Cantrell investigation almost 2 years ago in November 2022. Those subpoenas to clothing stores about purchases made by Cantrell's image consultant. In fact, the subpoena we received last month is the second one we've been sent. In February, the federal government gave us another subpoena asking for copies of our outside the office stories up to that point.
If this case had hit, a loggerhead, if it had gone off the tracks, you wouldn't have seen subpoena after subpoena go out. So the fact that subpoenas went out several months ago, and now again as recently as this week or last week, that's an indication that the case is alive and well. This is not a fishing expedition. Let's be frank, they've already seen the videos that are on your station's website that have been published by the Crime Commission. So they have access to that. They need the actual certified.
That's the mayor going into that clothing store with the stylist. It's like, what is up with these people and their stylists? And then are they billing the city? Well, I mean, you can do that a little bit, right? Haircut here or there. You can do that a little bit and get away with that. But unfortunately, these people tend to, just push the envelope. And then when something else pops up, oh, hey, what are you doing in that store? Oh, you spent a bunch of the city's money?
Certified copies of it. You don't need a certified copy just to watch the video. They're going to present that to a grand jury. And that's part of the government's case. If they're subpoenaing these records, they want to present it to the grand jury that they're going to be seeking an indictment.
𝗪𝗡𝗧𝗛 says any potential indictment of a sitting mayor would likely be reviewed outside of New Orleans.
If the government is going to indict the mayor and 𝗪𝗡, this has been vetted thoroughly, reviewed by, Department of Justice officials in Washington, D.C.
Absolutely. That's not a decision that's made unilaterally by one person or a group of people in the Eastern District of Louisiana. It has to go to Main Justice.
While the federal government's investigation is nearing an end, Dillard political analyst Dr. 𝗪𝗡𝗘𝗠𝗓 says the mayor has been noticeably quiet the past few weeks. On June 8th, the day a state grand jury indicted her former 911 center leader Tyrell Morris, the mayor refused to answer questions, as did her communications chief.
Do you have any? No comment.
We're not. And that's super smart. Just zip it. Just don't say anything at all. That's what your attorneys are going to tell you to do. That's where Qiang Tao, the mayor of Oakland, she had a news conference that her recently hired attorney didn't know about. And he said, nope, I'm out. I am not dealing with the client that can't keep her mouth shut. And she went off after having her home invaded or raided by the FBI. But that's not what you do. You just zip it, and because otherwise you're just going to stick your foot in your mouth. And by that, I mean, provide more ammunition to the FBI for them to indict you.
I'm doing that. You can talk to me and I will give you.
Okay, yeah. What is the mayor's comment on the Tyrell Morris arrest?
The mayor has also skipped several press conferences she was scheduled to attend. Wednesday, June 12th, 8:59 a.m., the Greater New Orleans Foundation emailed a release saying the mayor would attend a press conference announcing the Gail and Tom Benson Disaster Relief Fund. But at that press conference at 3:30 that afternoon, the mayor wasn't there. Tuesday, June 18th, Congressman Troy Carter announced $4 million for an indoor swimming pool in Algiers. Carter said the mayor would attend, but she also wasn't present.
My belief is that she's being advised by her attorney, who's a very smart criminal defense attorney. She's being advised by her attorney not to make any statements to the press or not to make any statements.
And that's exactly what should be happening. Just zip it and, let this process move on in whatever way it does. Because anytime you open up your mouth, like we see it with Mayor Tiff all the time. She's just saying stuff and you're like, oh, well, that'll be an interesting transcript to read later on down the road, where she just blatantly says, this is what we're doing. And you guys need to just follow exactly what I'm talking about. While we're on that topic, let's go look at last night's the town hall meeting. I mean, quite exciting. I didn't do a full live stream on this one because it's kind of more of the same, but you got a couple of events that happened. You had a firefighter, I don't know if it's the chief of the firefighting department, but he spoke at the meeting last night in the village of Dalton because their benefits are not being paid by the city, meaning their retirement funds are not being funded. I need to get this right. Their health insurance claims they're not having that funded by the city. These little bits are taken out of their pay, not little bits, but these chunks of income are taken out of their checks, as you do, and they go to contribute towards their retirement and their health coverage. And that is not happening. That's not happening. And they are getting invoiced and they're getting declined. The firefighters of Dalton are getting declined for medical coverage because the city is broke and the firefighters want to know what in the heck is going on. They've also been working for 5 years without a contract, and the city doesn't want to give them a contract. So you've got the very people responsible for saving lives in Dalton just basically, it looks like financial, malfeasance, right? How else do you say it? Hey, we don't have enough money. Where could we scrimp? And you're talking maybe 9 or 10 paychecks is what we're talking about. So I think there's like 15 firefighters in the village of Dalton. I mean, it's some money. It's some money. And more importantly, it's money that these folks are working hard for. And then all of a sudden, the city, their employer, is just screwing them over. Let's watch this one.
In South Suburban Dalton ended in chaos last night.
And ABC 7 was the only camera still inside the Dalton Village Hall when activist Jedediah Brown returned to the podium and confronted Dalton trustee Andrew Holmes over sexual assault allegations. Brown started to yell and demanded personal answers from Holmes before he launched to the front of the room, headed toward Holmes. Brown was immediately surrounded by police and was taken away. Trustee Andrew Holmes, who is also a well-known victims advocate, is accused of sexually assaulting a former Dalton employee during a village-funded trip to Las Vegas last year. Holmes has not been charged with any crime at this time, though the allegations are presently under investigation by Las Vegas police, and they are also the subject of a civil suit filed by the alleged victim. Liz Nagy has more on what happened before the confrontation cleared the room.
Before last night's meeting turned chaotic and violent, many village residents again showed up wanting to know what is going on with their finances and tax money. Mayor Henyard defended her work and pointed the finger at Dalton trustees.
Dalton's frontline responders arrived at Village Hall in uniform, more than a dozen deep, to demand answers.
That we've been serving the village without a contract for 5 years. Currently, the village still refuses to negotiate, making progress extremely difficult and if not impossible.
The South Suburban firefighters say their financial situation is far worse than even they know.
So my question is, do we have workman's comp insurance? We will continue to serve despite the fact our health insurance is not being paid, our retirement funds are being taken from us, and workers' compensation claims are not being handled properly.
The revelation was a plea, but as part of the public comment, the firefighters left without immediate answers. Their frustration was the most glaring, but far from the only one from residents who've lost patience with a legally embattled Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
Here we come.
I need to know what's going on with the money in the village of Dalton.
In her monthly mayoral update, shunned by residents who visibly ignored her,
I am literally the beacon of light for Dalton.
Mayor Henyard fired back.
We gotta watch that again.
In her monthly mayoral update, shunned by residents who visibly ignored her,
I am literally the beacon of light for Dalton.
Mayor Henyard fired back at her detractors.
Of light.
The Board of Trustees raised your property taxes every single year. I showed you that, showed you proof.
Henyard's handling of village finances is one piece at the center of a wide-ranging investigation happening out of sight by former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot.
Let her see! Let her
After
we've seen all of that. So what's interesting about the Tiffany Henyard is that she is just so outwardly defiant in her defense of what's going on. You've got a ton of, I think it's just straight up illegal activity. When you are not paying workers' compensation, that's the one aspect that I couldn't quite remember. When you're not paying workers' compensation and you're the city and you're responsible for doing that, these guys don't have a contract. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Well, that's because you can't meet contractual obligations. And if you did that under a contract, just be, you know what I mean? It wouldn't go over well. So there's no wonder they don't want to, sign a contract. And in the meantime, these guys are just kind of, wondering, hey, where is our money going? So you've got real financial issues of a budget sort of deal in Dalton. In New Orleans, you got shenanigans going on. Those ones don't bother me as much. The police officer who's on the security detail with the mayor. Okay, so he's drinking on the job. All right. Okay. Yeah. And it looked like one of the dinners was a 4-hour dinner. When's the last time you spent 4 hours at a dinner where you weren't trying to, woo somebody, right? Know what I mean? It's like, all right, we ate, gotta go. I got stuff I gotta do. I gotta read the news. You don't just, hey, let's just sit here. I'm really enjoying your company. You know what I mean? At some point in time, you got to be honest and say, this is a date. Kind of looked like that was what's going on, right? They were dressed up nice. Maybe they were on a date, but then you can't build a city for that. So yeah, you got some shenanigans there, and there's some other stuff going on there. But 𝗥𝗘𝗠𝗜𝗨𝗠 in Oakland, yeah, I'm not sure on that one. I don't know. I am more likely to say, as far as FBI indictment, Tiff goes number one, but the investigations on the mayor of New Orleans, those have been going on longer. So maybe that's the horse that wins the race, right? Some wild stuff. Got a couple of other mayors out there as well. I'm going to start covering those. But yeah, you've just got politicians doing whatever the F they want, and without much repercussion, until all of a sudden now you've got boom, 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 kind of all falling like dominoes. We'll see, right? Some wild stuff. I think you'll have some more fireworks. I've been saying this for a little while. I think you'll have some more fireworks out of Dalton, because not only do you have Dalton with Tiff, you've also got the township of Thornton, and you've got stuff crossing over. And if you're only in political office, even if you're a mayor of a city as big as Oakland, at least she doesn't have another entity kind of coming after her like Thornton, the township of Thornton. All right. That's it for me today on your happy news update on what you've got shenanigans wise from mayors across the United States. Thanks so much for joining today's live stream. I hope you guys have a great 4th of July. I'm probably not going to live stream on the 4th of July. I'm going to go out and enjoy that. We've got sun coming here to Seattle. I know it's weird. It's July. What is it? July 2nd. Our joke here in Seattle is that summer officially starts July 5th. Well, summer is going to start on July 4th this year. It's supposed to be close to 90 degrees, 80 something degrees. And that is boiling hot here for Seattle. So I'm going to take first day of summer, do that. I'll live stream. I might live stream on Friday. We'll see. But thanks for hanging out, and I will catch up with you in the next one. Bye for now.